In the heart of West Africa, a quiet rebellion is shaking the foundations of power. Leading it is a young soldier with Sankara's ideals in his veins and revolution in his voice. Ibrahim Traoré didn't rise with Western approval. He rose in defiance of it. His ascent was no ordinary coup. In just weeks, he dismantled foreign military deals, severed financial dependencies, and tore down decades of colonial politicking. His message? Burkina Faso would no longer be a client state. To understand Traoré, you must understand the land that shaped him. Burkina Faso, a country soaked in revolutionary blood and colonial betrayal. A place where hope has been assassinated more than once. Burkina Faso has seen more coups than any other African nation. Since independence, it's endured over a dozen power shifts. But the 1987 coup that killed Sankara rewrote everything. It turned revolution into submission. Born in 1988, a year after Sankara's death, Traoré grew up under a foreign-aligned regime. Unlike many who fled or went silent, he joined the army and served in the north where jihadists ruled and the state was absent. Why were foreign troops stationed here if attacks only increased? Why did aid flow endlessly while the state collapsed? Why were corporations profiting off gold while children starved? In 2022, Traoré led a counter-coup against Lieutenant Colonel Damiba, accusing him of betraying revolutionary ideals. He didn't claim power for glory, he claimed it for realignment. He invoked patriotism, not politics. What followed was unprecedented. Within 4 months, he expelled French forces, ended colonial-era military pacts, shut down foreign media, and began auditing mining contracts. The empire had been challenged and kicked out. Then came the labels: Putin's proxy, militant captain, dangerous populist. But the media never asked why people embraced him. They feared the narrative, a self-reliant Africa without foreign puppeteers. Control the story, and you control the outcome. If Traoré is a liberator, he garners support. If he's branded a rogue, he becomes an excuse for sanctions, for coups, or worse. Traoré's real threat lies in his alternative. He echoes Sankara's dream of food sovereignty, local industry, military self-reliance. He doesn't beg for loans. He builds from within. By 2023, whispers of plots and drone surveillance echoed across Ouagadougou. His guards swelled in number. The message was clear. They hadn't forgotten Sankara, and neither had the world. With Mali and Niger, Traoré formed the Alliance of Sahel States, a military and economic pact breaking from old colonial chains. The West called it dangerous. The people called it destiny. What happens when an African leader stops asking for permission? You get Traoré, and you get an Africa that doesn't plead to be saved, but rises to be sovereign. After suspending France 24 and RFI, Traoré went further, banning NGOs accused of spying under the guise of development. Burkina Faso made it clear. The narrative war was not just external, it was existential. As international outlets rushed to label him a strong man or proxy, they overlooked the collapse of faith in their backed regimes. Information isn't neutral here, it's a battlefield. Despite criticism, over 50,000 civilians volunteered for the Homeland Defense Force. In Burkina Faso today, defense is no longer outsourced, it's personal. As ECOWAS isolated Burkina Faso, Traoré, along with Mali and Niger, launched a new alliance, AES. It wasn't just political, it was spiritual, a regional stand for self-rule. In late 2023, rumors of assassination swirled. Satellite surveillance increased, but Burkina Faso wasn't caught off guard. They remembered what happened to Sankara. Then came accusations. A top U.S. general claimed Traoré diverted gold for personal security. The Burkinabe government responded with transparency and called it imperial propaganda. What frightens the West isn't just Traoré's control of territory, it's his control of meaning. Perception builds policy. If Africa rewrites its story, the empire loses its grip. Before Traoré, there was Sankara. Before Sankara, there was a man who dreamed of a united Africa. If you want to understand Africa's future, start with those who defied its past. Imagine an Africa that no longer asks but acts, where leaders rise not to rule but to serve, where youth no longer flee but stay to build, where gold fuels hospitals, not foreign profits, where the sound of helicopters is replaced by the sound of hammers, pens, and ideas. This is the Africa Ibrahim Traoré is daring us to believe in. A continent not just resisting the past, but writing a future that's sovereign, proud, and unstoppable. The dream didn't die with Sankara. It's marching now, under a new name and a new generation.